in front of me. Don't do away with my name. Don't kill anybody. Don't steal from anybody. Don't even covet what they want. Don't commit adultery. We read on. It says, eat this, but don't eat that. It's unclean to me. It should be unclean to you. It goes on to say that a man shall not lie with a man as with a woman, and a woman shall not forsake her natural state. It's an abomination. We read these things topically. Establish courts of law. Elect elected officials. We read these things topically. So there are things that we read that we understand and we can apply. But let's consider the next part of the verse. And thrust both of them through the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. The word for and thrust is vidakor, from the root dakar, that has two meanings. The first one is to thrust, to stab, to pierce. But the second one is to starve. So let's keep these in mind and we'll come back to them. Let's look at the balance of the verse. In the words, both of them through, the word shanaim actually means two. And again, two gives us an idea of division. Was a division being attacked? If so, we ask why. The root for the word, shanaim is shana, that means to change, to alter, to return to a former condition. So if we take both of these ideas together, we can formulate one. He went after false worship and denounced it, declaring it to be evil and detestable in order to change it back to its former condition, eliminating a division. But we still have to consider thrust and to starve, so keep holding on to those ideas. The next phrase is through the man of Israel and through the woman through her belly. The word for through is el, and aside from meaning through, actually means towards or in the direction of. This word also gives an idea of being placed between in order to separate. So we can consider that false worship must first be removed or separated from the deceptive spirit that it produces. Now we note that the phrase says through her belly. And this kind of sums up the action taken. If we go after false doctrine in our life, we must do it completely, because once we have recognized it and realized that it goes contrary to our oath to Yahweh Elohim in the Shema, it keeps us from fully establishing a relationship that Elohim prevails, and this is removed. This presents us with the word belly, as we are now confronted with the choice that we have in the text. Anytime we see belly, we're thinking of the text. We're thinking of the nakash. What crawls on its belly? Okay? The word for belly, interesting enough, is kobah. Has the same root that we found in the word chamber. Okay? Anybody remember what we found in the word chamber? That we have to denounce whatever is false. We have to denounce the things that are detestable. We denounce the things that are detestable to our Elohim because we yoke ourselves to Elohim. We bow before his throne. We worship our Elohim by his word. And in turn, we are protected, nourished, and find our rest in Elohim. So, this word tells us that we can continue in false doctrine or rabbinical decrees and be like the Nakash, crawling on our bellies, or we can bow before Elohim through his word. To thrust or to starve, this is the question. We may very quickly remove falsehood from our worship. We can do this with one sharp thrust with the word of Elohim. It is, however, the lingering deceptive spirit that has to be starved until it dies as well. And this is what's hurtful and difficult for us. Is this lingering spirit holds on. We all have friends and family that won't allow a deceptive spirit to die because they cannot perceive or continue to believe the deceptions found in their beloved doctrines or takanot are false. They insist on holding on to them. We have to be what? We have to be ad. We have to be the testimony and the witness showing in our lives the things of Elohim. And it's a very, very gradual process. Sometimes it just takes forever. There is a bright ending, however, to this verse. It says, so the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. The word plague is oftentimes used to refer to the judgment of Yahweh Elohim. This phrase says that it was stayed from the word atzar, meaning to restrain or to hold back. This is, however, not a permanent condition, as eventually what is being held back is going to be released. We have time to teach our loved ones and our friends, but judgment is being held back. It won't be held forever. We have said that the root of bene, meaning children, is bana, that means to establish. But we have to keep in mind that the root also means to restore. In this phrase, we consider that Yahweh Elohim allows time for the gradual restoration of those who love him. We see this in Shemot 25 that says, and showing mercy unto the 1,000th generation of them that love me. We talked last week about the 3rd and the 4th generation of them that hate and what that means. But now we see that if change takes place, he has mercy. He extends grace, undeserved favor, so that that change can take place. 1,000th is the numerical value of the Aleph. And we find that Elohim is very, very gracious to us to allow us to change and make teshuvah. We may eliminate false worship, doctrine, and takanot from our lives, but its spiritual residue will continue until it finally dies off after having been starved, not being fed by our tolerance or our desire not to offend those dear to us. That's a biggie for all of us. I don't want to offend anybody. And we go out of our way not to offend people. I don't want to offend you. And we still do that. And this is an important thing too, because we don't want to offend people. We want to love them, and we want to show them by example, and we want to gently guide them to understand, because there's a difference between thrusting, that we remove it instantaneously from our lives because we know. We practice the Shema. But there's a lot of people, 1,700 years worth of damage, that isn't going to be removed in a single thrust. It has to be starved. Elohim allows for us to be the light, the Kohanim. It means more than just priest. It means to be the minister, to be the teacher, that can minister truth to them in a loving way. But we must keep in mind that his judgment will not be held back forever. Verse 9 says, and those that died by the plague were 24,000. This is just a very kind of topical idea based on the numbers themselves. The blessings, there's the kaf, numerical value of 20, of Yahweh Elohim, the Aleph, are behind the door. To not find the door is to die spiritually. It says, will you find it and help others to do so as well? Now, there is one more thing that we can't ignore in this, and it's real quick. I know everybody's saying, my gosh, this guy's long-winded tonight. But let's consider what happened in Bamidbar 25 in the actual parasha. Here's verse 10 that starts the parasha. Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, and that he was very jealous for my sake among them, so that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, Behold, I give him unto him my covenant of peace. And it shall be unto him and unto a seed after him the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. We're the Kohanim. Because he was jealous for his Elohim and made atonement for the children of Israel. Paul says, I have the jealousy of Elohim for you. If we have the jealousy, a jealousy for our Elohim, that means we want to serve him right, and we want to do it with all of our strength, with all of our heart, with all of our soul, backwards, but you get the point. So, I know it was kind of wordy, that's why it's out there in a handout, and I will have some more handouts next week if you want to take over, but read it over a few times. We're the ones that have to make a change, not only in our own lives, but we affect the lives of others in everything we do, not just in what we say, but our actions. And if we see and we know that things aren't right, then we have to take action to change them. And sometimes that action has to be very gradual. Any questions on this big old long wordy dissertation?
You know, the point you made in there too is that you have to clear out a big part of the past too.
Mm-hmm.
Not only turn away and do some things differently, but
Take the garbage out.
And getting rid of the past is the hardest thing. We've done this for all these years. Now you're telling us that everything that we've learned is wrong? It's very awkward to say, yes. My Saturday class understands awkward because I've said yes. Anyway, I think we've achieved grooviness.